Before starting the program, if you please introduce yourself in the chat box and also mention your phone number. That will helpful for us to again contact you.
Correct.
Especially for the new members. This message is for the new members.
Correct. Satish, you can put the slide, opening slide. 4:35 will start in 1 more minute. Put it in a slideshow mode. Yes, thank you.
Everyone able to see?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's there. You're visible. Very well.
Sir, Mrs. Rao is not seeing.
Say Ashchandra. Say she's following the healthcare. She has gone for a walk. Taking care of the health. She'll just join. So time wise, Srinivas Garu, you tell us when to start, huh?
Yeah, let us wait for 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Okay. So till that time, Ashok, so
Yeah.
you see besides our 2 speakers, so you can see Dr. G.V. Ramana is there. He's from Rayagada. He's my elder brother. He retired as a CMO in Coal India.
Good evening,
Then-
Ramana Garu.
Ramana Garu. Then we have Gudla Venkatrao. He's retired as chief engineer from Coal India, also settled in Rayagada.
Good evening, sir.
Then Dr. Bhavani, she's the daughter of
Good
our
evening.
village.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
Good
Dr.
evening,
Bhavani.
everyone.
Dr. Bhavani. Then Sanjukta, you know, Shravan Kumar, he works from Karvi. He's the younger brother of Sridhar Kothakota. Okay. Then
Welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon to all, sir.
Dr. Sanjukta, he doesn't require introduction. She represents Terry.
Right.
Then
Good
Ashok.
afternoon to all.
Good
Yeah.
afternoon. Dr. Ashok Shukdi is from Ahmedabad. Dr. Vijay must be our Vijay from London. I guess so, because I can't see the full name. Bhanu Rao we don't know, must be from some place. SSC is the Bobli, Srinivas, who is doing a hospital in Bobli. Okay.
I request all the new members, please introduce yourself in the chat box.
Yes, if you
That
can
will be
write
helpful for
your
us.
name, if you can write your name, you can write your mobile number. So that
And place also.
yeah. So then Ashok
Yeah.
will take care to
I will
keep
take
you
care.
posted. Yeah. Wonderful.
Did chocolate baking.
So Bhanu Rao, you can introduce yourself. V. Bhanu Rao.
I think he's our Krishna uncle's son. He has completed his B pharmacy from Muniguda.
Acha, Muniguda Bhanu Rao. Okay, okay.
I mean, I believe he should be he, but he has not yet introduced. Is it
Okay.
Bhanu?
Acha, must be Bhanu Rao. Okay.
Yeah.
1 minute, I want to know who is Dr. Bhavani.
Bhavani Mana Bhavani, Nana. Prasad
Evaru?
Godla Chinsankaran garu Manoral Bhavan. Dr. Bhavani,
Yes, sir,
Amma,
yes, sir.
you introduce
Yeah, yeah.
yourself. My brother is asking, wants to know.
Sir, I am a consultant physiotherapist. Right now, I'm working in Delhi. I am daughter of Mr. Singisetti Kuchela Rao.
అర్థమైందండి ఇప్పుడు
Sinsetti Kuchel
మన కూర్మారావు ప్రసాద్ వాళ్ళ సిస్టర్స్ డాటర్ అన్నమాట అతను.
Namaste, uncle.
నా బ్రదర్, మా ఎల్డర్ బ్రదర్ అమ్మ అతను డాక్టర్ గారు.
Okay, namaste, uncle.
She is also a great dancer, Bhavani.
No, she is my sister.
Sister, okay,
Uncle,
that is sister.
Yeah, she is my elder sister. Yeah,
Elder
yeah.
sister, okay, okay, understood. So I read about you know, I read about the family.
Yeah.
Srinivas garu,
Yes, sir.
we will
can-
start. We'll
Yeah,
start.
we'll start.
Okay. So namaste, good evening to all of you. We will start the session with the welcome address by the President of Kalinga Vaisya Samaj Delhi NCR, Mr. Srinivas Kotni. Srinivas Kotni garu is a lawyer. He has a large team of lawyers. Does a great work, and he has grown in Delhi, and he has written a book on GST. He has recently met the Goa Chief Minister, the Chief Justice of India. Just hold on. So after he has taken over as the president of Delhi branch of KVS, the activities are of superior quality. The gatherings, the talks, the sessions. So it's wonderful working under his leadership. So over to you for your welcome address.
Thank you, GP Rao garu, for that introduction and your kindness. And I would like to welcome all of you to the session which have been conducting for quite some time. We have been having talks with achievers from our community. And in that series, last time we had a session on careers in the financial sector. And as a series, today we have a session on pharma and healthcare sector, the careers which the youngsters can pursue, what all opportunities are there. And we are thankful to eminent two speakers, Shivaji Garu and Sridhar Kottakota Garu, who will share with us their experiences and their guidance to those youngsters who are looking at initiating their career in this particular sector. Because as I mentioned in some groups also, we as a community are extremely laborious and also intelligent. The gray cells is not in dearth. The only thing which we thought is the bridging the gap between the intelligence and the destination where they can reach. What are the different options? What kind of grounding is needed? What kind of preparation is needed? The passion and other things. So when people, successful people, come and share their experiences and also guide the youngsters, I'm sure they'll be in a better position, because we all at the end of the day achieve something, but then there's a lot of trial and error. So that trial and error can be obviated if some guidance comes our way. So with these words, I would like to inaugurate the session today. And I would request Dr. GP Rao Garu to take this forward, and I welcome each and every participant. Please go through this. We'll also have a recording distributed, and make sure, let us all together make sure that our youngsters get some guiding light from the session. Thank you.
I have muted everybody. I have muted all. So those people whom we request to speak, they will unmute, can speak, so that the disturbance is limited. I'll request Satish, can you show the agenda first? Next slide is an agenda. Yeah, this is how we'll do. Just now we had a welcome address by our president. Then I'll talk about the series and the moderator. Then the moderator will take over and conduct the session. Then she will also sum up. So we have a provision for question answers. She will tell us. Then we have announcements by our office bearers. Then we'll have a general vote of thanks and gratitude. This is the agenda. Okay. Now let me tell you about the series. I think Mr. Srinivas Kotni has already hinted. The need was felt that students need guidance to which courses they go. This was one. The other was parents wanted some tips, wanted to know what are the job opportunities, what are the entrepreneurial opportunity. Can our children go into some business? Then can they go for teaching? So they wanted to know all that. The third need came, people who are already started working. Somebody is working in an industry. He wants to know how to grow or how to change a job, change a company, change a line. So 3 needs have come. The students want to choose a career, parents want to guide their children, and the third is the people who are already working. So we started with one, we did that IT, ITES and finance. Now we are doing pharma and healthcare. Next, we'll do some other course. This is a series, want to grow, and we're making it all India so that everybody is benefited, everyone benefited. So that's the context with which we're doing. So today's our moderator is a lawyer. So I'll introduce her. Okay, can I have the slide of the moderator? Yeah, this one. Yeah. So it's very short slide, but a lot to talk about her. So she's did her schooling from Palasa, then college, then Visakhapatnam, then she did BSc, she did, then MSc chemistry and food technology. So from Tirupati, she has been a lawyer for 17 years. And naturally, she is after the LLB only. She's an Indian patent agent. So she is a partner to a big company called Lexport. So over to Rajlata. So it's all yours. So please set the contest, share the format of today's discussion, introduce the speakers, get the audience to speak and ask questions and sum it up. It's all yours. Satish will help you with the IT, and I'm there anyway as a background support. Over to Dr. Rajlata Kotni. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. My degrees are very less when you compare to the degrees of the speakers. To actually set the context, it is from my perspective, the training session, or we call it as an introduction on many aspects of careers, is the concept as such. And we have today 2 speakers. The session will be, each speaker will be speaking for 20 minutes. Once the speaking session gets over, we have a Q&A, and everybody, whoever would like to ask questions can start asking in the chat box. I'll be writing down. I'll also be, if you have a difficulty, you can text me if you have my number. And then I will start off with the introduction of our first speaker. Our first speaker, Dr. Shivaji Prasad.
Just hold on. Just hold on. Satish, can you change this slide? Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Dr. Shivaji Prasad, sir has done his MBBS from Berhampur and MS from Sambalpur. He's an expert in joint replacement surgeries. Presently, Dr. Shivaji Prasad is Managing Director and Chief of Orthopedic Surgeon, GJ Hospitals, Visakhapatnam. And he's also the Professor and HOD Orthopedics, Gayatri Medical College, Visakhapatnam. He is the consultant formerly with INS Kalyani Navy, consultant Railway Hospital, Visakhapatnam. He was the visiting faculty at Rollin College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Berhampur, and he was senior consultant orthopedic surgeon at Apollo Hospitals, Visakhapatnam. Thank you very much, sir. We welcome you. Our next esteemed speaker, Dr. Sridhar Kottakota. Dr. Sridhar has done his MTech in biotechnology in JNTU, Hyderabad, and PhD from Andhra University. Dr. Sridhar currently is working as Vice President in Biotechnology Department at Laurus Bio, Bangalore. He has about more than 30 years of global industrial experience, and his technical expertise is in the department of recombinant proteins, biosimilars, microbial and viral vaccines. And he's an active speaker in international conferences which are held in various countries, USA, Europe, Singapore, China, Indonesia, and of course, India. He has formerly worked with the most well-known companies like Lupin, Thermo Fisher, Cadila, Sun Pharma, Shanta Biotech, and Artemis Biotech. Welcome, Dr. Sridhar Kottakota. And if I can request Dr. Shivaji Prasad to start the session. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Lata, for the kind introduction. Now, I appreciate the Delhi Kalinga Vaishya Samaj for holding all type of these activities regularly, and I have visited I was a part of your meetings. And thank you for giving this opportunity. So now career options in medicine. And actually, I started. I'll speak regarding the introduction, the careers options after getting into +2 science or BPC, not in engineering, right? So slides, please. So MPC and BPC, the confusion where with parents. Okay, after 10. So the people who are in thinking of going into BPC, we know in our knowledge that there are 2 lines in after inter science. One is medicine and one is engineering. There is no third thing we know, but there are a lot of opportunities that we want to clearly explain. After MPC, you can do only engineering side, but after BPC, we have a lot of opportunities. And those things I want to explain. In addition to MBBS,
Satish,
there are
you
lot
change the
of things,
slide.
hundreds of things.
Mr. Satish, you change the slide only when Dr. Shiva tells you. Okay, go back. He will tell you when to change. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Shiva,
So now we'll discuss about the courses available after BPC, right? So people think that, please change the slide. So people think that after BPC you get only MBBS, BDS or something, but there are hundreds of opportunities, hundreds of courses that we can go through. One is MBBS, that is medicine. People say master in bachelor in medicine and bachelor in surgery, that is MBBS. And second is BDS, is bachelor in dental sciences. BPT is bachelor of physiotherapy. BMHS is homeopathic medicine. BAMS is Ayurvedic medicine. B Pharma is bachelor of pharmacy. My co-speaker will speak about pharmacy. BTech in biotechnology. The people go for biotechnology, that is the BTech biotechnology. E in environmental science, veterinary science, research in science and technology, BSc in various disciplines. Next, please. So coming to the job opportunities after MBBS. In addition to that, please next slide, please. So courses related to the other courses which we are very less heard about, I want to speak. One is BSc in forensic science. That is forensic science. Second is BSc in life science, chemistry, forensic science. Diploma in this fingerprinting and ballistics. BSc in psychology after forensic psychology. Diploma in forensic science. BSc in criminology and forensic science. Next. BSc in aquaculture, advanced zoology and biotechnology. BSc in zoology, BSc in geology and zoology and animal biotechnology. Next. Next slide, please. Agriculture BSc in biochem and agriculture chemistry, crop physiology, entomology, agronomy, agriculture metrology, agriculture biotechnology, honors in agriculture, BSc in agriculture, BSc in agriculture eco and farm management, BSc in agricultural statistics. Next. Microbiology and pathology, diploma in industrial microbiology, clinical pathology, BSc in microbiology and BSc in microbiology. Next. Food technology, BSc in food preservation and processing, BSc in food processing technology, food storage, preservation and food technology, biochemical engineering and food technology, diploma in fish processing technology, diploma in sugar technology. Next. Certificate courses like medical lab technology, X-ray technicians, radiology, prosthetics, orthotics, clinical child development, dental mechanics, dental hygiene, darkroom assistant, operation theater technicians, and dialysis technicians. One more is CT technicians, CT OT technicians. Next. Can you please go to that job opportunities, third slide? Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, after MBBS, what are the scopes? Some these jobs opportunities are some of the courses have an opportunity to do jobs in the same profession or go into administration line or do an entrepreneurship like business, hospitals and all. And you can start a charitable organization like NGOs. So coming to the MBBS, you have two after MBBS you have MS is a Master in Science and MCH is the super specialization like CT surgery, plastic surgery and all. This MD is you have to after MBBS you can go for MD medicine like medical lines, medicine lines, and you can go with DM means super specialization for cardiology, nephrology and all. And after MBBS, you can do MHA, Master in Hospital Administration. That you can, after that, you can go for administration line. You own a hospital or you administer, you manage a hospital. And there is a thing called diploma. Slide, please. Slide, please.
1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. I am muting all. Dr. Sivaji, you can unmute and speak. Huh? You can unmute and speak, Dr. Sivaji. I have muted all. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Coming to MHA, you can go for your own hospital, or you can manage a hospital, or you can start an NGO. So you will be the administrator or CEO of a healthcare organization. So there is a diploma in cardiology course. You can do echo and you can help the cardiology department. And you can go for emergency medicine. There is previously the casualty, the hospital, the first place where you reach the hospital is called the casualty. Now it is called emergency department. So it is emergency only, people go there. So emergency medicine, there is a diploma of 2 years and 3 years. So first, whenever the patient comes, the emergency after MBBS, you are trained to do basic investigations and like X-ray, ultrasound and everything. And then inform basic emergencies treatment, then only you call the consultant. And you can go in a line of obesity. Obesity is a big business now. You can think of obesity. Obese people are a lot of obese because of sedentary lifestyle. A lot of obese people are there. So you can go for obesity clinics, obesity trainer consultant, with the help of dietitian and physiotherapist. You can go for cosmetology. There are medical management is there and surgical management is there. So you can go for a cosmetic surgeon or cosmetic physician. So you can go for this cosmetic look like change in face, nose, earlobe, breast weight reduction, liposuction and all. You can go for that. Hair transplantation. So you can be trained after MBBS. You can be trained with a hair transplantation. That is a new thing. So a lot of money is there. You can have your own clinic. So there are also otherwise called trichologists. Now coming to the BDS people, BDS are the dental sciences. After BDS, you can have different branches like MDS. MDS has got lot of branches like orthodontics, periodontics, dental medicine and all. And BPT, Bachelor of Physiotherapy. Bachelor of Physiotherapy, you can open your own. You can do an MPT in science, neuro, ortho, cardiac, or something. You can start your clinic. You can work with a hospital. You can work with a hospital orthopedic surgeon, or you can be a physical trainer like in a cricket team and something. BMHS, BHMS, that is. Ayush Care. Now the government has anchored because the scarcity of doctors in rural areas. Government has given that Ayush clinics or something, and they are paid very well, and they have been observed if someone is a BHMS or homeopathic medicine or Ayurvedic medicine. So these people can be, but they will treat allopathic treatment, but they can be, you can be taken as a Ayush doctor. B Pharma, Bachelor of Pharmacy. After that, you can, before that is the D Pharma. But after that, you have M Pharma, and my colleague will speak about that. Next is BTech in biotechnology. So you can you can work for a biotechnology company, like now we have been present about this COVID vaccine and all. And you know, this biocom company and all has done a lot of wonders now. So biotechnology is the new thing, and being environmental engineering. So this environmental pollution and pollution department, you can join in the pollution department. And now veterinary. Veterinary is a very good branch. People doesn't know very less about that. It is a good money-making branch. In addition to the respect, you will be if you are in a city or in a rural setup. Veterinary science is very good, because in rural setup you will be a consultant to this cow farms and hen farms and egg this poultry farms. And in addition to that, you can if you are interested also, you can start your own this poultry or own products of milk, this cow, and you can, in cities also, lot of people spend on pets more than on humans. So you can start a pet clinic. A lot of money and respect is there. They are almost doctors. They're very smart, because the pet will not speak as our pediatrics patients, but they can manage the treatment. Humans, we can, they will say complain, what is the problem and all they say, but in pets, they don't say anything, but they treat it. Research in science and technology, you can go BS in various disciplines. And this, just now I have visited this Indian Institute, India International Hospital Need Expo in Vizag. It is located in Vizag. There is AMTZ. AMTZ is Andhra Pradesh Medical Technology Zone. So this is there was a conference today. This medical technology zone is sponsored by Government of India and Government of Andhra Pradesh. There are a lot of 30 to 40 startup companies are there. So if you have an idea, like if you computer people are having a startup company, like, you know, startup software company like that. So if you have an idea regarding manufacturing of a device, or manufacturing of a implant, or you have an idea of manufacturing of a ECG machine, or manufacturing of some part, you can approach them. They will guide you, they will fund you, they will give you space, and they will give you subsidy. So this is the in thing now. I was there in the morning. So so this is these are the opportunities. So you can the only difference between working if you are in this lot of medical field, what is the advantage is wherever you want to settle, you can settle. You want to settle in your, you can choose a place where you want to live and serve. Okay, that is the biggest advantage. If you're MBBS, I am giving a cross thing. If you're MBBS or BDS or something, you can start your own clinic at your home. You can manage it. If you're a female, I suggest, if you're a female, if you're a BDS or something, you can start a clinic. You can see your family, and you can start a clinic in front of your house. Evening you earn it, and the rest of the day you are having family life. So you have to balance family life and your professional life. So these branches are advantages, because you can start a small clinic. One room is enough, or 100 rooms are enough. It is your interest and your interest to grow. So these are the so you can have a balanced life of this personal family life and this medical life. And last slide, please. Last slide. Challenges. What are the challenges before this? So what are the challenges of this line? Challenges of this line is You see, this line is so, I'm talking about medical particularly. This line
You
is
want,
so
Shivaji, you want the certificate courses or the challenges slide? Just see.
challenges.
No, the slide is on certificate courses.
Challenges.
Okay. 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 And now it's.
So challenges is this profession is very noble as the people, though lot of people are having complaints, but this is ultimately a noble profession. This is a profession where you have an opportunity to serve, and for that you are paid. You are paid and you serve it. Okay, you serve the people, but you are paid for it, and you have a lot of respect wherever it is a social, because we are not you are not animals, and we are not a machines. Humans are social animals. So in the society, in addition to your income or your livelihood, you have a social recognition and social respect. Wherever you go, you are recognized. Where the day you join an MBBS course, there you are called. Some people call you a doctor, because it is sure that you will be completed. So everyone will start calling Dr. Garu, Dr. Garu. So that respect is there. So money is automatically there. Of course, money is there. But in addition to that, disadvantages is professional disadvantages is there. A lot of disadvantages there nowadays. So what are the challenges and professional challenges? So you have every patient. The only problem is you have to learn. Every patient is a new patient. Every patient is a new patient. Every day it is a test. Every patient is a test. You have to pass the test. You have to satisfy him. You have to cure him and send him. Okay, so every patient is a new patient, a new test for you. Every day is a new day for you. So that pressure and tension will be definitely there. So you have a personal life. If you are young, you try to serve more. You try to get more patients. You have become busy, and your professional life is you are busy, but your personal life is compromised. So a lot of people, a lot of doctors have a compromised personal life, and some people are lucky that they'll have a some time. And those people who can manage both personal and family, this professional life balanced, they are successful people according to me. And now coming to lifestyle, I said, but lifestyle problem is there, personal problem is there, professional problem is there. External problem means patients, different types of patients come. Like some patients are bad, some patients are good, some behavior is different, some patients are tensed, some patients are confused. Some patients, the biggest problem is the people come with after doing Google. Okay, so Google gurus, they are Google WhatsApp. WhatsApp is now they're called WhatsApp University. So people are having a lot of knowledge before to come to you. So that is a good thing, that it is very easy for us to convince them. But if they are having more knowledge, there is a big confusion. So now coming to legal issues, this consumer court, this is also comes under consumer court. Consumer court, the patient is a consumer and doctor is a service provider. So this consumer court is also a big issue. We are overloaded with patients in India. The doctors are overloaded with patients. The time given to each patient is very less, because patient doesn't have a time. And so there may be some unknowingly some negligence will be there. So that you have to accept. And now licenses, I'm running a hospital 50-bed corporate. For that I have to get 16 licenses or 17 licenses. For that, my man has to run pillars to get licenses. The licensing system is very bad, but it is there. So license you have to get, and one license you are getting, the other licenses are also expired. So that is a big headache. But that is from government point of view, it is very good to control the health system. Ethics. Now ethics, now total medical profession is ethical based, and now it is called evidence based. So without evidence-based, all medicines what you practice should be evidence-based. Evidence-based means previously who has published and done research and all. Depending on that research only, we have to talk and we have to treat the patient. That is called evidence-based medicine. And now finances, every profession has a money. You earn a lot, but this profession you have a noble scope of serving people and earning money. And nowadays, after UK, now UK health system is totally run by government. But in India, the health system is almost coming to that scale. Andhra Pradesh, where I stay, 65 to 75% of people population has got this white card, and there is a thing called Aragasri scheme is there. So 85% people come with, they are insured by the state government. Aragasri is nothing but the EMI is paid by the state government, and they are insured by some private organization like Star Health or something. So the patient comes with the card. He is given free medicine, free treatment, free implant, free food. And while going home, depending on his distance of travel, his travel charges is also paid. So it's a very good scheme. But the minus point of that scheme is the tariff is 10 years old. The tariff is 10 years old. But the government wants that because it is a vote bank. Now the health sector is a vote bank. That is a drawback. And government wants that all patients should be treated free, lesser price, free and lesser price. But the other prices are escalating, and they are not matching with the tariff is not matching with the present rates in the market rates. So that is the minus point. And by this I conclude.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please, Satish. Yeah.
Next slide, please. Thank you very much. This is my hospital brochure. I want to tell 1 minute that Health City. My hospital is in Health City. This Andhra Pradesh government has given 28 hospitals in a single place. Out of that, my hospital is one of them. In addition to that, we are multi-speciality. We are now in obstetrics, skin, dental, hair transplant, and general services. And, thank you, KV, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Uncle G.P. Rao.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And the President and Secretary. Yeah.
Rajlata. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sivaji. I'm actually amazed by the options that are available. I mean, 20 years back when I did my BSc, very little options were available. But now, having looked at the options, one, it is interesting, and two, it is also because beyond medicine, there are many job opportunities where you can work, and especially I like what you said about women. They can have the option of doing both, and even if they've taken a break, they can get back and start continuing their work. And yes, coming to challenges, and I think I was about to say about the Google doctors, all of us, we have too much information. But yeah, I think these are challenges you face every day. And with this, I would like to, request Mr. Dr. Sridhar Kottapada to take over with his session, please.
Okay. So, Satish Garu, now you can withdraw the slides. Sridhar will use his own slides. Okay. Sridhar, you are a co-host. You can share your screen.
You have to unmute.
You have to unmute yourself, Sridhar. Sridhar, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Ready.
Can
You
you
are
see
ready.
my slides?
Yes, yes. Can you go?
Yeah. Good evening, all, and thank you very much for providing this opportunity. And it was very nice talk by Dr. Siva. I see there is a lot of opportunity for youngsters as well as the people who are already working in the segment of pharmaceutical industry. I have been working with this industry, and it is very much evolved, and it has been globally accepted. And a lot many countries from India, like taking the medicines, and if you say evolved countries like US and Europe, the major export goes from the Indian continent only. Okay, so to look at the career options, I say that there is endless options are there both in India and abroad. And in the perspective of pharmaceutical, there is nothing like any graduate or from only from pharmacy, but all other kind of disciplines can also get into pharmaceutical industry. So the opportunities are endless. Okay, and with this, I just wanted to present what is it basically. How much is the capability and how much is the capacity, and what is the current trend in the pharmaceutical segment. So what I mean to say here is we are almost like a 4,000 to 5,000 crores business holding segment is the pharmaceutical business in India. So it shows that there is a lot of scope and improvement in the growth and in the market point of view. At this moment, for a global point of view, India is the pioneer and the leading in both pharmaceutical, particularly the vaccinology also. So if you heard about it, every second person in the world get a vaccine from India. At the same time, every person will get a medicine from Indian manufactured pharmaceutical drugs. So this is the greatness of Indian continent at this moment. If you look at that, the composition, like how much is the investment, like usually when you do the lot of innovation, every time, every year, every month, we'll launch new products. So looking at the investment point of view, every year the investment in pharmaceutical segment, it is growing very steadily and gives enormous opportunities for the youngsters to take this as a profession. Okay, so if you look at the business opportunity point of view, pharmaceutical exports from India, it is steadily and continuously growing, and it is picking fast. Okay, and also after a big achievement, the Indian government also made a specific kind of promotions, as well as there is a lot of industry friendly policies has been created and generated a lot of revenues for the country. Looking at the investment point of view from Indian government itself in the coming years also, even from now also, so a lot of investment is happening in the pharmaceutical segment. So this gives us very confidence and taking up pharmaceutical segment as a career. So this is actually the segment analysis, and I'm also going for the next slide, which basically shows about how is basically the pharmaceutical segment is mapped and it is evolved. So globally, the pharmaceutical industry, like in Indian industry, if you say it is a 5,000 crores turnover, it's around 4.2 billion at this moment. If you look at the overall in the globally, around 1,200 billions. Basically, it's a very large volume. Okay, so why and how this pharmaceutical industry is growing means basically it's all innovation and technological advancement in the making the medicine, which is affordable and it reaches to every person and even a common man, and it should be also a high quality product. So in this segment, if you look at the current projections as of now, like this is going to be doubled, around triple by 2025 and 2030. So this giving a real very good scope for the people who are entering or planning to enter into this segment, particularly for the youngsters. So this is about the global scenario. So most of the products which are made in India are majorly exported, and it shows that how we have been advanced and how the world is looking at Indian market, particularly pharmaceutical segment. So it is well evolved and well developed, and it's also well accepted. So the people who are interested in taking this as a career, so like Dr. just now presented is very nicely the various domains of the the segments. Like now, anybody who is having a science background can enter into the pharmaceutical industry. At the same time, there are a lot of ancillary verticals where people can also get into the pharmaceutical segment, which are basically engineering, management, accountancy, and law as well. So this is the one which is the areas where people can get into. So what are the type of jobs that they have? Like, most of the people, they think that pharmaceutical units are basically a manufacturing. Basically, it is not only the manufacturing, it has a lot of management, marketing, sales, production, regulatory, and QA/QC. So these are some of these very, very niche areas where people can get into. And the major contribution for the products development is research and development. So basically, the scientists who are working on the developing new molecules for the human care. So those products basically are developed by the research and development team members, and which has very wide segment like biochemistry, microbiology, cell culture, biotechnology, fermentation, molecular biology, diagnostics, radio imaging, and a lot of other analytical techniques. So all these things comes under the R&D. And when you talk about production, you might have heard about API, means bulk drugs, formulations. That basically formulation means various dosages, formulations like pellets, tablets, injections, oral liquids. So many areas which are basically coming under this segment, form production. And when you're talking about the QC/QA, it's basically all the pharmaceutical segment, particularly based on their quality control and quality assurance, their products survive in the market with very less kind of failures. So, and also that is the backbone for any pharmaceutical product. So that segment is really evolving, and it is basically a big opportunity also. And majorly all the products which are made in India has been accepted all over the globe just because of our marketing strategies and also our sales force. And most of the times in the global scenario, when you want to make a product, it should reach to their country. There are a lot of litigations, a lot of laws, and a lot of regulations. For all of that, we have to read their requirement, and we have to make our product feasible to that particular country's requirement. So that way, regulatory bodies really plays a major role. So particularly for India, drug inspectors, drug agencies, Food and Drugs Authority, and these are the people like government agencies who basically help us to develop this kind of molecules. But it starts with the development, clinical trials, and also launching the product. So these are some of these areas like where people can get opportunities to work. And there is actually other area, like what I could say that it doesn't mean that if you have done any science graduation or a pharmacy or other things, it is and with these corporate jobs. Also, you can start with your own kind of career, saying like you can have your own kind of for teaching in pharma segment or life science segment. This also can be your career. And higher education in India and abroad, a lot of people, they are not aware that after graduation and post graduation you should get a job. No, in the countries like India and abroad also, there are many institutes which offer a good career in the research and development, particularly that is for the career build up, also career enhancement, also getting a doctorate, higher education. So where you can be as a scientist, senior scientist, kind of researcher. So a lot of countries, central government also provide a lot of scholarships, and in the overseas and abroad, like those jobs which you get in the higher education gives a lot of returns. Like they pay very big attention for the research and development, and they provide good scholarships. So basically that is also a very good career for people who are having aspiration to go for higher studies and going abroad also. So it is well evolved and well accepted. And people who are also having good entrepreneurial skills and who wants to invest and get good advancement and their career, they can also start their kind of startups. So in India, so a lot of opportunities are there because we are all people driven. Our country is having more than 130 crores of people. So to reach to every individual, the opportunity for diagnostics, pharma and academics at small scale, like you call it as a startup. So in this segment, there is not much of investment is required. But only thing is you have to have a minimum infrastructure and understanding about the market and the strength and the place where you are working. So you can also do that in your own way and with a small limited kind of investment, and you can start build up your own career in entrepreneurship. Okay, this is what I mean to say. And along with the pharmaceutical industry, there is a lot of other thing comes up, like it's a packaging and artwork, and this is basically both food and drug as well as a pharmaceutical. So most of these products requires this kind of presentations. So that shows that there are multiple opportunities with various domains and various local locations. So which gives an opportunity for the youngsters as well as the people who are already there in the segment can get into. And yeah, there is a lot more to talk about it. And if anybody is interested, anybody needs any help, please reach out to me and I can help them. And any questions means I am happy to take.
Satish, I think there was another slide. Was it? Dr. Sridhar, was there any slide that we missed out?
I am done. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk to our colleagues.
Rajlata, now I'll put the spotlight on three of you, including Dr. Sivaji. So you can carry on with the discussion. You can ask questions first, then the audience will ask questions. Huh? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, both the speakers.
Yeah, you are three of you on spotlight, and we can remove the slides. Huh? Satish, you can remove the slides. Yeah. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, both the speakers. We've actually personally also, and for the members of the session also, we have learned a lot. My first question is to Dr. Sivaji Prasad. Sir, are there any specific kind of training? You started off with MPC and BIPC. So how do you choose between MPC and BIPC? Are there anything specific learning that you should do so that you know what to do post BIPC? Do we have in any direction in that way? Apart from MBBS, I'm talking about the non-MBBS careers in healthcare.
I couldn't understand my question.
So basically, I have finished my intermediate in BIPC. If I'm not qualified for MBBS, I may not be having the caliber. So what do you think is the best option to pick up after my intermediate so that I have a broader option to take up beyond MBBS?
Actually, I'm sorry to speak. The MBBS and the next level, there is a lot of difference in financial and social recognition. There is a lot of difference. There is a big gap. That is the unfortunate thing. So there is a big gap between MBBS and the next level. Okay. So next level, people think that BDS is good, and particularly I suggest my friends and friends' daughters and all. I suggest that it is nothing. It is a profession and it's an ornament to the crown to the lady. If a lady is a doctor and a male is a doctor, there is a difference. If a lady with a degree, then it's a crown to the person. So basically, the best line is MBBS. After that, the gap is very big. Next is BDS is good, but BDS is lot of competition is there. But it's very easy. There is no emergency. You can sit in your front of the front drawing room. You can put a chair and start your clinic and put a board. That is very good. My third is next is veterinary. People doesn't know the veterinary is so good. Veterinary is so good, so in the village you're the doctor for every cattle or every and in the city if you have pet you have to go for vaccination, you have to go for regular treatment and everything. So that is also a very good branch. People don't know. And fourth is physiotherapy. Because I'm an orthopedic surgeon, There was previously the surgical scope was there. There were people who used to go for conservative like plasters and slabs. So there was a lot of stiffness, and also there. That's why the physiotherapy need was much previously. But now the physiotherapy need is less because early surgery, early mobilization we do. That's why the scope is very less. But some people can try it, but physiotherapy is slowly fading out. That is the unfortunate issue. And next is this agriculture. Agriculture BSc is also very good, but ultimately in some branches, if you don't get all this, there is a scopes called CT technicians. CT technicians means you have to you are the cath lab technicians. There is a course, so you are paid very well, and you are placed in a cath lab in a hospital. That is very good. Then dialysis technicians, you are placed in a dialysis ward. The consultant will only monitor over phone, and you have to manage all the dialysis patients. And the second and third is this cath lab technicians. Cath lab means I told cath lab, CT technician, and the second is OT, CT OT. There is a post called perfusionist. So the person is on heart lung perfusionist. Patient is on heart lung machine. Your heart and lung is bypassed to a machine, and the surgeon operates on the heart. So that perfusionist post is also very good, and the perfusionist, the same perfusionist use the can operate this ECMO machine. ECMO machine is there, no? Now used in COVID, Jayalalitha madam and SP Balu has
Okay.
been, so that ECMO is very expensive, and that can be managed with this perfusion.
These are all more technical jobs, sir. Technician jobs. Do we need a BSc for that?
Yes, ma'am. Technician job.
And I have actually liked the startup option you have given, and of course the pet one, because I'm in Delhi where pets are gods, you know. And actually, I'm actually very happy to see that kids are taking up veterinary as a career and wanting to open up, you know, smart pet clinics and all, which is actually which is going to be a trend everywhere.
Spies also there.
Yeah, it is all that is there.
Rajlata, President has raised his hand.
Yeah, Dr. Sridhar,
No,
your light
President.
is off. Yeah, I'm just
President.
telling Dr. Sridhar the light is off. I don't see him.
Yeah,
Ah,
Sridhar,
yeah.
your lights are off. Maybe they have a power cut or something. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yes, Mr. President.
Yeah, sir. When I have one question, so I've carefully heard both the speakers, and I'm so glad that there's so many options after BiPC for the kids. Now, my question is on the, I mean, especially to Mr. Sridhar, Dr. Sridhar, the biotechnology line has got a lot of patents emerging from India, and especially Hyderabad is a hub for that, right? What kind of careers are there for patent technology for biotechnologists in the pharma sector?
Dr. Sridhar, I think has a technical issue. He is got dropped out.
So Lata, you can take that, being a patent agent.
It
Yeah,
is
sorry.
a,
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
there. Yeah,
Can you
could you,
Sorry.
yeah, thank you.
could you follow my question?
Can you please repeat? I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, I'm saying that India is a hub for biotechnology research. There's so
Yeah.
many biotechnology companies which have emerged, especially in the Hyderabad region, and a lot of patenting is happening. So with respect to the students who have done biotechnology or biochemistry and pharmacology, etc., what kind of career options are there in intellectual property rights, especially patents?
Yeah, it's actually a most sort of area, like it's very niche area. So intellectual property is the one, like any company which survive, because a lot of these kind of a segment, high-end research-based companies, they survive on their intellectual property. Okay, so in India as well as in abroad, patenting is the one thing, like it really makes that company to survive. Particularly companies like pharmaceutical companies, they need this kind of protection from the competitor. So in India, in fact, Government of India is having a special cell for that, and also there are a lot of courses available for this particular kind of skill. Okay, intellectual property. Of course, in India, if you wanted to protect your innovation, we have a cell called IPR cell, and also you can patent your work. Okay, and another thing is like people who are having technical knowledge can take this degree courses are there. Additionally, you can take that qualification. Without that, also with work experience, you can gain how to do the IPR related work skills. Okay. So in fact, and I also have a patent from on my name, and I have experience on patenting my work. And this is basically a niche area. What people have to learn is when you do the innovation, what kind of protection you require, and you have to present your data to the IP cell, and they will give you a kind of patent protection. They will allot you a patent, and they will give you patent protection. So for that career option, like there is a specific course, like IP course is there. You can take that course and complete your qualification, but that is only a skill. But any individual who is having knowledge on any specific area can file a patent. So in fact, if I do something like I can also patent, and you do something, you can also patent. There is no specific kind of structured course is required for patenting your work. Okay, but only thing, there is a format where you have to fill and submit it to the IP cell. So that is the thing. So for the youngsters, they can read on the public domain. Also, there are some colleges offer this kind of specialization.
I would like to congratulate Dr. Sridhar for your innovation and the patents.
Yeah.
So, I would like to congratulate you.
Yes.
And
Thank
just
you,
to
Dr.
add to what Dr. Shivaji has mentioned about veterinary sciences. So I can give you an example of a friend of mine who is doing veterinary oncology in Tasmania, and he is a dean with the university, and he is respected. So therefore, the animal welfare and the veterinary sciences have definitely taken a different leap. So that also can be a very, very lucrative and a fruitful career. That's what my thought is. With that, I just hand over back the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Courtney. I can see Dr. Subudhi's hand raised, but I already have a question for Dr. Sridhar. After that, I'll get back to Dr. Sangeeta. Dr. Sridhar, you have spoken about a lot of options, beyond pharma, the sectors like sales, regulatory, law, production, and many other, options post your pharma degree. What is the right kind of a training you need to shift to main core pharma beyond this?
Yeah, that's very good question. Basically, what happens is that the beginners, whoever is completing their courses of education, at the end of that career academics, there is always called as the internship, like an interaction between public as well as a private organization. So there are a lot of times, you can also do a kind of internship with the companies, where whichever area you are interested, you can approach that companies, and you can get the training done in the area of your interest. So whatever the segments there are, we continuously intake. Sometimes it's in bulk. We go to the universities, colleges, institutions, and we select a bunch of people, and we take them, and we will check their performance. Based on their interest and their performance, we'll absorb them in the relevant areas of work. So there is a way of doing it. A lot of kind of education institutes nowadays, they are doing a tie-up kind of thing. So they directly interact with the kind of public sector companies or with private sector corporates, and they will request for a kind of screening kind of interaction, like where we'll come to the campus, or we'll interact with them directly, and we'll check for their interest, and according to their skill set, we'll absorb them into the relevant areas of work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I have already questions lined up. Before that, Dr. Sangeeta Subudhi, please.
Hello. My question is to Dr. Sridhar. Excellent presentation. You have indicated the career scope for the students who can undergo course in research in science and technology. So I have some queries. Basically, I am a biotechnologist. I am leading the group for microbial biofuels and biochemicals at the Energy and Resources Institute. So I wanted to understand, because you have mentioned even there is a huge scope for the students who undergo course in fermentation, microbiology, apart from the molecular biology. So I understand that there is a huge scope for the students who are skilled in the molecular biology segment in the pharma sector. But I also wanted to understand how about the scope for the doctorate students, and I mean the students who qualify the PhD in fermentation or specifically in microbiology. For them, what are the scopes there in the pharma sector? Because you have very good expertise and you have worked in several of pharma sectors.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Dr. Subudhi. Actually, Indian companies, as I was presenting in one of my slide, whatever the revenues they make, out of that 10% of that revenue, they directly invest in the development of new products. Okay, so the products directly coming from fermentation is the one area they can directly join. Otherwise, there are a lot of companies like we call it as APS, biotransformations. Okay, so what we use, there is a kind of we take one bulk drug and they convert it into the substrate of the product. So that is also an area of fermentation. Okay, so in all the both the segment, there is enormous an opportunity. So companies like Biocon, like Lupin, so all the biotechnology companies and pharmaceutical companies, in fact, they do have a division for fermentation, and we have a lot of inflow of these kind of trained people, whether they are graduates or postgraduates or doctorates. They are based on their academics, they can be directly absorbed into the relevant area. So there is a huge kind of capacity, like people are continuously joining and working and providing support and also progressing in their career.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, Satish Kalivarpu, you have your hand raised. Do you have anything to add, sir?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shiva sir and Dr. Sridhar Kottakota. Thank you for a nice presentation and nice addressing the career opportunities. So I am working with pharma field. Just I want to know, now children are more enthusiastic and very energetic to take the technical courses of like engineering and software. So see, working with as an employee of a pharma company, I thought of earlier I used to go with engineering. By virtue, I changed it to pharma field. Later, I continued in the pharma field. But what is your suggestion to see, sir? Nowadays, children are more interested in technical courses like engineering only. In engineering, also specialized is go to only computer science, information technology, and things. So pharma field, if we go to medical field or pharma field, they require some science background. So after the science background, people are competing their technical expertise with the software technologies. So there's a gap. The packages offered by the companies, the packages offered by the software companies, and the packages offered by the pharma industries, there is a gap. So the sustaining progress is pharma field compared to current. It's going to current scenario. It is going software technology. But making once it has been any student or children opted a pharma field science background. So what is the career progress in the management courses?
Well, like the pharmaceutical segment, it is a setup of a corporate which is not only the BSc or M Pharma, B Pharma people. It is a big kind of a group of people. It has various verticals. Okay, the people management is one thing and science is another thing. So it is always like people management is a basic requirement for any corporate. Okay, so in that way, people who are opting for say a management, that is also a very good one, but in that vertical they have their own kind of skill sets required. So the people are capable of there is a dynamic kind of mindset, and people ready to accept a change, and people are willing to take up new challenges, and people are ready to work with very closely with the colleagues and taking inputs, and these are all the things. One aspect also, time management, money management, people management. These are the skills which basically comes to this particular segment. So there are enormous opportunities whenever you are having a business development kind of learnings.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. I have a question for, from the audience, which I think both the speakers will be able to answer. Dr. Shivaji Prasad, something called medical transcription, is it still alive, sir, as a career? I have an audience who's asked that question about scope in medical transcription. Dr. Shivaji, please, can you give us your input?
The medical transcription is still alive. What is medical transcription is, I want to give a brief. It is because the workload in foreign countries or anywhere, workload is more. What they do during rounds and all, the consultant speaks the diagnosis, what has to be written, discharge summary, everything will speak. And that recording will be given to a steno. Okay, the steno will type and prepare the discharge summary and the case sheet. And if because the steno, it is people the costly, it is affair is costly there. This medical that video, that audio comes to India. India people are there to read and to hear it and type it and resend it to the hospitals. So this that is mostly. Should I speak or not? It's a clerical type of job, but definitely
some basic science background, sir, for that?
Basic science background, who can understand the medical technology and pharmaceutical technology and hear it, listen it, and type it and send it back. So this, and the advantage is it's work from home. Any female or any graduate with family work, it's a part-time job also is very good.
Sir, you mentioned about India having too many patients. I'll just close this question to Dr. Shivaji. So, do you think India also will have a need for medical transcription? You don't see that kind of a business coming up any soon?
Medical transcription, yes. When the manpower is expensive, automatically you will send to people who can do in a lesser price.
For the Indian doctors, I'm talking about
Indian doctors only. The manpower, the clerk, if when you are not able to get a typing clerk, I may be wrong in wording, but it is, if you don't get a typing clerk or a secretary in a good price, you have to opt for a transcription.
And that kind of a trend is there in India now.
No, we are service providers, but the service takers are not from India, it is from abroad.
Okay. This question, your point of view, Dr. Sridhar, on this medical transcription as a trend, as a scope, I am aware of what has happened in the past, especially with the pandemic. Has the scope changed?
Yeah, in fact, there is a lot of automation involved. Earlier in the medical transcription, that used to be more manual, but nowadays there are a lot of softwares are available. There is a good platform which exists. A lot of trained people are into this kind of domain. People having very little knowledge in computational skills also will be trained, and they can be adapted to this kind of background. So, sorry. Yeah, please.
Dr. Shivaji, please.
Actually, madam, I'm trying to understand what you're asking. There is a difference between telemedicine and medical transcription.
Sir, the question from Mr. Gopal Sethi Somani.
I have seen.
It reads about the scope of medical transcription.
I want to add that one thing is called telemedicine. Telemedicine is the new thing in. You are not able to come to a doctor. You are not able to visit a doctor. So what will happen? One sister or some graduate is there sitting beside the patient on a web camera, and he will explain what you have a software and they have a software. Doctor is having software. In remote places, somewhere is in Arup or Singapore or somewhere where the super specialized services are not there. So at that time, you open a clinic. Okay, you open a clinic, you have a net connection, you have a web camera, you call the patient, make him sit, you connect to the doctor with this with your app or something, and you can take consultation. That is called telemedicine. That is a new thing in MAD.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sridhar, if you can finish your thought, I have another question.
Yes, like now what Dr. Siva said, that is absolutely correct, and it's more acceptance for this kind of thing. Like now, because the software platforms have been evolved, and more players are into this segment, and I see that there is a lot of scope for this particular career. So people who are willing to get into this, since this is a more of service and manually operated, the returns are very low. The career ambition, like now, whoever is having with the low academics can get into this kind of segment. So I believe this is not going to be high return.
Highly skilled.
But low, so people who are having less skills, and like what Dr. Siva said, it can be like people who are working from home, such kind of people can opt this kind of career, I believe.
Mr. K. Ravi Kumar, can you ask your question? I can see your hand raised.
Hello.
Yes, yes, please go on.
Thank you, sir. You are enlightening many things. I have a question regarding question to Dr. Siva Prasad, sir. After the MBBS, if a child couldn't get through PG or MS, any specialization, so what are the career opportunities after MBBS only?
Yes, sir. I have explained earlier also. You have one is emergency medicine, diploma in emergency medicine. So emergency means casualty medicine, medical officer. One, that is the face of the hospital. Whenever the patient comes to the hospital, 500 bedded or 1000 bedded, first it will be seen by the emergency medicine doctor. One is next is you can go for clinical cardiology. You will be a half cardiologist. You'll do everything except treating the patient. You can do echo and all. You can be ICU in charge and all, right? So you can go for MHM, Master in Hospital Administration, and go for administration job. And you can go for hair transplant training. You can go for that is very good money and very good career. As you can go for obesity, diploma in obesity and something. And a very good thing is diploma in diabetes. You can do any diploma in diabetes, 6 months course as in non-diabetes clinic or some diabetology. You can be a diabetologist, and a lot of people come to go there, go to them. So you can do all this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, both the speakers. I do have, I'm actually quite happy with the questions and the input we have received. To sum it up, what I have personally learned from Dr. Sivaji Prasad, that yes, MBBS is a very, difficult and it's a highly intelligent, persons will reach. But beyond MBBS, there are many options, especially with the new trend. Like sir spoke about, MHM and diabetologists and obesity clinics, which is actually going with the trend. There are many options to for a person who's interested in healthcare can take it up. And I'm actually personally very interested in the way you spoke about startups and the compliance and startup. Many options can be taken up for testing, and telemedicine is like, I have a client who actually does only this business. He is basically in Delhi and he handles only telemedicine. So that is also a very interesting trend. And I've also, I'm not very sure if the audience have seen that kind of a trend. Mostly it's everything on the system, with the doctors also, there actually, there are softwares. I've seen some comments were talking about automating every healthcare service, specifically like medical transcription and all. Thank you, Dr. Sivaji Prasad, for giving us that kind of an input, and we've understood that there are many options beyond MBBS and with MBBS. And Dr. Sridhar Kottakota, what we have learned is the beyond M.Pharm, there are options of going into law. Of course, I have, doing MSc, going into law has actually made me understand the options. But yes, you have spoken about careers like marketing and production, and you can start an industry. You can also do many courses so that you're only not stuck with M.Pharm, and you can go beyond M.Pharm and to grow vertically in a company. Personally, I have understood that you can do many more courses. And of course, you've also spoken about opportunities in research. We are all with a one vision that you do your masters and then you go into a job. But we have actually learned from you that PhD and research, especially outside India, countries like Germany and all, have huge job opportunities for just research. You continue to do your research and you have your entire career only in research. Thank you very much, both the speakers. And with this, we will be taking over to the next session. Dr. Satish Garu, can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah. Satish,
Thank you.
Satish, put the next slide. Actually, as per our protocol, in every meeting, our office bearers make certain announcements. So requesting our secretary and treasurer to just let us know if there are any announcements. Yeah, this slide. Either Ram Prasad or, yeah, this one, please. Yeah, this is done. Ram Prasad or KGK or Ashok, any announcements for the Samaj?
Good evening, all. Actually, there is no special announcement is there, but some of the events we have done last on August 15th, we have contributed to the society. We have also doing some social activities in these days, and since August 15, we have started new thing that is helping the NGOs also by donating something to them, and that kind of contribution started from our end, Kalinga Vaisya Samaj, Delhi itself. So that is the one news we want to inform all of you. And these kind of things we have started from August 15th onwards. We will do it. We'll continue it further. And if anybody wants to do these kind of social activities, please contact us.
Thank you.
Like donating somebody, like if somebody is studying and they are poor people, if somebody want to contribute for that student, yeah, that person, even if you get the information, then we will inform you if you want to donate for that person. So these kind of activities we want to do centrally from the Delhi itself.
Thank you, Ashok. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. Now I will request Vice Chairman of our branch, that is KVS Delhi, Dr. Ganesh Prusti, to give his observations and propose a vote of thanks. Dr. Prusti.
Good evening to all. I am Dr. Ganesh Prusti, Vice President of NCR KVS. During this marriage season, we had an excellent session of career counseling for our own kids. In fact, today, every one of us are witnessing. It is my honor and privilege to present a vote of thanks to all those responsible for successful conduct of this event. Our sincere thanks go to honorable expert speakers, Dr. Sivaji and Dr. Sridhar, for explaining skills required for coming to forefront in every bioscience and technology, including medicine and pharmacy. Both of them have brought laurels to our community in last couple of years, and they have opened the eyes of this august gathering today. On the top of it, our team is thankful to Mrs. Lata, who has acted as a perfect moderator or the bridge between us and the speakers. In addition, it is my duty to thank each and every member of EC for this nice arrangement. The program is the brainchild of Dr. G.P. Rao and Sri Kotni, President. He's the acting right now president. He's instrumental for both of them are instrumental in arranging this best event. I'm thankful to Sri Ashok Boyana, Sri Kirti Patra for pulling the crowd to educate our community society fellow brothers and sisters. Subsequently, our members like Mrs. Kanya, Sri Satish and Dr. Sanjukta Subudhi have acted behind the scene for arranging this web function. Ashok Boyana, Sri Kajika Patra and Dr. G.P. Rao are responsible for networking within and outside NCR-KVS. Lastly, I thank each and every participant who have joined this web meeting pulled from every corner of the globe and encouraged us to go for better and better virtual meetings. Finally, I thank our elderly pathfinders and veterans who have taught us to look for bigger functions for binding the community people together. With this, I once again thank both doctors who have pioneered in their field and explained us to our how to encourage our kids for medicine and pharma sectors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prusty. Now the session is formally over, but we'll keep it on. The Zoom will be on for informal interaction if anyone wants to wish one another or introduce anything. Okay. So we'll keep the Zoom on for another 5 minutes. Thank you, Siva. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle.
Sridhar.
Thank you so
It was a
much.
good show. Rajlata, as usual, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Ashok, you want to recognize the presence of people from outside? Just see. You want to speak or something. Ashok, Boina?
Yeah.
Want to leave the meeting?
No, meeting is over, but then if anybody wants, like
Thank you so much.
I
Thank you,
saw
everyone.
Sujana there. Where is
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Where is she, Sujana? Amma? Sujana.
Uncle, namaste.
Namaste, Amma. Namaste. Good to see you. I couldn't see you. Your video is not on. Then I also saw Nane unnaru, Shivaji.
Namaste.
GV Ramana garu unnaru.
Namaste.
Unmute cheyandi, unmute. Dr. Ramana, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello.
Namaste, Uncle. Bonara.
Namaste.
Bhavani is there. Bhavani.
I saw Bhavani. Where is she? Dr. Bhavani. Physiotherapist. Okay.
Bhavani is there.
I request you all, please open your video on.
Yes. Sujana, Bhavana.
I understand Bhavani is the granddaughter of Bhavani Shankar Annaya.
Correct.
Good.
Mana Kuchel Rao.
Usarani. She is daughter of Usarani.
Usha unduga last month. Usha Kudru.
Good.
Shiva Kuchel Rao Usha.
So I want to speak that today's session is wonderful. Both the speakers, Dr. Shivaji and Sridhar, have spoken very well. And coincidentally, both the speakers are our nephews.
Thank you, Uncle.
And the job done by Rajlata Kotni is wonderful.
Rajlata.
Rajlata's job is wonderful.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I want to speak 1 minute.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Just thank you, Sridhar Garu. I met you when I doing my project work in Inform. I met you. I stayed at my friend's home at Visakhapatnam at Hyderabad. I think you remember me. At that time you gave me a guidance regarding pharma field, regarding how the career. At that time only you have guided me.
Very good.
Thank you for your great support and.
Very nice. ఇంకెవరు మాట్లాడతారు?
Thank you.
అతను ఎస్ఎస్ అతనేరి మన హాస్పిటల్ పెడుతున్నారు బొబ్బిల్లో శ్రీనివాస్. సో బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ లక్ శ్రీనివాస్ కదా. Best of luck to you. Best of luck. To
Yeah, Dr. Shivaji. GV Rao from Raigada.
Anya, Chappan. G. Venkatrao.
I am G. Venkatrao from Raigada. I am father of Vijay Rao Gudla. Dr. Vijay Rao Gudla.
Vijay is my friend. Namaste.
Vijay, your friend.
Good.
Barampur, same school.
Itanu, you want to say something? Bobbili hospital paduthunar kada SS.
From Bobbili. Yeah, this is Srinivas Sindri speaking here.
Okay.
I think my voice is audible to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm basically from IT background, and I have worked in multiple MNC companies, and then
I'll do one thing. I will mute all, then request you to speak. Now you speak. You unmute and speak. Yeah, now it will be better.
Yeah, this is Srinivasan Sindri speaking here.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm basically from an IT background, and I have around 15 plus years of experience in IT, and I just left my job in 2019 just to achieve my father-in-law dream, and so we have constructed a multi-specialty hospital which is in Bobbili.
Okay.
So it is like a very good location, like we have a very good locality, and so we can approach Chhattisgarh and Orissa and other
very good.
Vizag
So all
cities.
the best. So is it already operational?
No, it is not operational.
Not
so
yet.
it is in a construction phase, and I think like in next 2 months we are going to.
Wonderful. So all the
So
best to you.
we have done a joint venture with the Queen's NRA Hospital. So I'm looking at a CEO role here in Bobbili Hospital.
Very nice. Hearty congratulations to you. Best of luck, and convey our regards to Dr. Janardhan. So you tell him that I am the co-son-in-law of late Dr. Chandrasekhar. Okay. Tell him. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wants to say something? So Dr. Prabha Unda will panda.
Hello, uncle.
Vijay, you are from
Yeah,
London.
hi.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
nice
I was in and out. I had
please.
I would just like to congratulate Dr. Shiva and the another speaker.
Sridhar.
Yeah, Sridhar. Yeah, I know Dr. Shiva. He was my senior in Barampur, and we worked together. And it was a nice perspective which he has given and opened so that it would encourage lot of young people to join medicine. Not even medicine, there are very lot of allied specialties nowadays which would be helpful in healthcare, pharma departments. So I would just like to congratulate him for a nice talk, and hope everyone is doing well there.
Yeah, all well, Vijay. All well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vijay.
Dr. Siva, which batch are you in Berhampur?
I'm 93 pass out, sir.
93. Okay.
10th is 84. 93 pass out.
So you are now in Vizag, right?
Yes, sir. I have shifted in 2006 to Vizag. Last 15 years, I was in Apollo as a senior consultant.
Excellent, sir.
Last 4 years, we have a 50-bed corporate. In addition to that, morning I go to a medical school.
Srinivas Garu, not to undermine the success of Shiva, actually I had once told you about his mother. So she is a women entrepreneur, a women social activist, active in community service, and guides the 3 sons, very worthy sons. Shiva being the eldest.
So Dr. Siva, you were staying in Gandhinagar, right? Am I audible?
Yes.
So you could recognize, I think we're staying in front of you.
Your papa, no?
Yeah. Papa.
You are in Singapore, no?
No, I have returned back to Delhi. I was in Thailand for 8 years. So I went with my husband there. I was also working over there. Namaskar, auntie. ଭଲ ଅଛି ଭଲ ଅଛି ଆପଣ କେମିତି ଅଛନ୍ତି
డాడీ బాగున్నారా
ହଁ ଭଲ
మమ్మీ
ଅଛନ୍ତି ମମି ଭଲ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଏବେ ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଆପଣ କେମିତି ଅଛନ୍ତି ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ପରେ
ఎలాగున్నాడు
నేను బాగున్నాను
నమస్తే అండి నమస్తే
యశోద్ గారు గుడ్
నమస్కారం
ఈవినింగ్
నమస్కారం నమస్కారం ఇప్పుడే మాట్లాడా మీ గురించి చెప్పాను అందరికి
చాలా మంచి టాపిక్ చేస్తున్నారు
ఆంటీ ఇస్ వెరీ యాక్టివ్
దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ టోల్డ్ ది
Very active.
ప్రెసిడెంట్ సో
Excellent.
we must recognize the mother also, no?
yeah I know their the auntie and the family
Wonderful.
because we were
So-
staying in the same street.
So Srinivas Garu, president, so now it is 608, I think we'll
Sir,
close it. Say- Yes, sir.
sir, am I audible? I am Ravi Kumar.
But your video is not on. We give preference
Okay,
to
okay,
people whose video is on.
Okay.
No, you can speak. No, I'm just joking. Ravi Kumar, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I am Assistant General Manager in Steel Authority of India Limited.
Where?
SAIL in Asansol, West Bengal.
West Bengal. Asansol, which steel plant?
SAIL, Steel Authority
okay,
of India Limited.
Okay, very good.
Sir, is this group is for limited to the Delhi residents only? Kalinga Bhai, sir.
No. Anyone can join our meetings.
Okay.
Our sessions are
No.
open to globally.
No, you
Like
can
the-
take
Okay.
you can take membership also. There's no problem.
Yeah, no problem. So you write your number. Our treasurer will speak to you another 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
He will only take 3 minutes to make you a member.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Just put your number.
Hello, Dr. Jipirao garu. This is
Yeah.
Namaste everyone. Just a
Namaste.
short introduction. I am Satish Sindri. I am a principal consultant with Infosys in the domain consulting group. I hail from Bargad, Odisha. My father is Dr. Sindri Shanmukhrao. He is a retired orthopedician. And
I know.
and I am related to Dr. Shivaji Garu. My cousin sister Geeta is married to him. So
Acha. Okay.
yeah.
I thought.
Hi, Baba. So first of all, I will share my gratitude and heartfelt congratulations to all community elders for creating this awareness and sessions, right? Because I always personally felt as a community we were lacking this grossly. To be honest, I came across this session only through Facebook. I did not know that such groups existed, such initiatives were taken forward. So first of all, hearty congratulations. And
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
and I would also suggest how to evangelize more
Okay.
about
Please send.
awareness.
You can come to me on my Facebook or LinkedIn. Send me your ideas. We will definitely like to implement those.
All right. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you.
also congratulations to Dr. Shivaji Garu and Kottaghat Garu for
Wonderful.
sharing.
So you are in Infosys, no? Okay.
Yeah, I am based out of Mysore now.
Mysore. Okay. Krish is my good friend. Your CHRO. Okay. CHRO.
Oh wow. Very good to know.
And okay. Thank you.
Hello, Satish.
Hello, sir.
My name is G. Venkat Rao. Your father is my classmate.
Oh.
Actually, his father's original native place is Gunpur.
Yes, Gunpur. Yes.
He was my neighbor.
Okay. Very good to know. I will pass on this update to my
ఎవరు
father.
ఫాదర్ ఎవరున్నా నాన్నగారి పేరు
మా నాన్నగారు సిందిరి షణ్ముఖరావు, మా తాతగారు.
Okay. No, I also know him.
Okay. My other grandfather's name, his late grandfather's name was Chindri Gumpas.
తెలుసు. I know your father actually.
Oh.
Wonderful. Wonderful to see all of you. Dr. Prustid, I think we'll call it a day. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you all for.
Thank you all. Kanya wanted to say something. It's okay. Thank you all. We'll call it a day.
Thank you all. Thank you for this.
Thank you.